Welcome to Arsenal Report, your daily source for all things Arsenal FC. From match updates and transfer talk to behind-the-scenes stories, we've got it all. If you're a true gunner, this is your home. Hit subscribe and join the pride. Victory through harmony. Let's get started. Mikel Arteta has been told by Jamie O'Hara that he should be doing whatever he can to persuade Kevin De Bruyne to swap Manchester City for Arsenal when he departs the Etihad at the end of the season. De Bruyne, 33, announced last month that he would be leaving the former Premier League champions in the summer. It has since emerged that City informed the Belgium international that they would not be offering him an extension to his current deal, which expires at the end of June. The former Wolfsburg man has already been linked with clubs in the United States, but he has also refused to rule out playing for another team in England. And O'Hara says that pursuing a deal for the player, who has been City's orchestrator-in-chief during a period of sustained success, is a no-brainer for an Arsenal side who have failed to win the Premier League title in successive years. The former Tottenham midfielder said on Sky Sports, every team in the Premier League would take Kevin De Bruyne. If he is genuinely going to go, Mikel Arteta knows him. He should get straight on the phone and say, come and sign for Arsenal. We'll win the league with you. I'm going to sign a striker. I'm going to have you in midfield. We'll sort it out with you and Odegaard. They've got Champions League football. I would be straight on the phone, give him whatever he wants, get him in that team because he's a winner. He knows how to win, and he is still a top player. It makes a huge difference. De Bruyne has been open about the circumstances behind his City exit, including the details of how the decision was relayed to him. Intriguingly, he refused to rule out staying in the Premier League when the idea was put to him after City beat Everton last month. It came as a bit of a shock. I'm open for anything, including staying in the Premier League, he told reporters. I have to look at the whole picture, sporting, the family, everything together, what makes the most sense for my family. I don't know what it is. It depends on when you speak to people about projects and things. Mikel Arteta is facing the biggest challenge of his Arsenal reign in Paris. And for some members of his Arsenal squad, they are also playing for their long-term futures at the club. Arsenal trail French champions Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 from the first leg last week and face a huge uphill battle to turn the tie around. PSG have gained a reputation for being even stronger at the Parc des Princes, so Arteta's men face a daunting task. And yet, after beating Real Madrid in both legs, it is not an impossible one. But equally, it will be a defining night for players when heroes can be made and reputations strengthened. Arsenal's squad has been pushed to the limit this season because of injury, and there can be no doubt that a major overhaul is required in this summer's transfer window. That will leave several players knowing that they face new competition, new faces, and a shake-up after what has been an underwhelming and disappointing domestic season. Wednesday could be the biggest night in the careers of some of these players, and that is why they must seize the opportunity to reach the final, but also secure their futures. Thomas Partey was a huge miss at the Emirates against PSG, and not only did Arsenal miss his presence through suspension, but also it meant that Declan Rice had to play deeper, and the Gunners missed his forward runs. Partey, 31, is out of contract this summer and wants to stay at Arsenal, with the club holding initial conversations with the Ghana international. His previous season was blighted through injury, but he has come back well this term, and yet the arrival of Martin Zubimendi, who is set to join from Real Sociedad for £51 million, casts a fresh doubt on Partey's future. In the big games, Partey has shown he has something to offer, and with Jorginho set to depart at the end of his contract, Arsenal may need strength in depth. If it was not for Partey's performances in Europe, then they might have moved on already, and yet now there is a dilemma on whether to renew one of the club's bigger earners. Arsenal are targeting a midfielder, a striker, and also a left winger in this window, and that has raised doubts over Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard, as there has been interest in both players from Saudi Arabia. They may have to sacrifice one of them to bring in a new winger, and Martinelli has really stepped up, shining against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Martinelli looks to have a future while Trossard is older. His contract is running down, and while he has been a superb signing and squad member, his teammate may have grabbed the mantle. Jakub Kiwior looked set to be heading for the exit door this summer, with the likes of Alexander Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney, but he has been excellent in the absence of Gabriel and may just have staked his claim for another year. Ricardo Calafiori has been a big disappointment after signing as Arsenal's biggest deal last summer, but the best quality for any new signing is availability. The £42 million defender has been plagued by injuries, but that was also the case in Italy. That now looks a gamble that has not worked to date. David Raya has been superb for Arsenal, but has been erratic with his performances, particularly his reckless passing out from the back, and yet knows there is no competition behind him. Arsenal need a new number 2 keeper to apply pressure on Raya, and often a reserve keeper can be as important as the number 1 to ensure he stays on his toes. They will need big performers and big performances in the Parc des Princes to save a season which has still not secured Champions League football for next year. That is why this night is so important for Arsenal, and could have a long-term effect on the Wild squad. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta appeared to indicate inconsistency in how Premier League rules have been applied this season. He was speaking in response to questions about the Gunners improving their disciplinary record after several red cards in the early stages of the season. Arteta's Gunners took on Bournemouth on Saturday afternoon, having lost the reverse fixture 2-0 at the Vitality Stadium. William Saliba picked up a straight red card that day, in what was Arsenal's 3rd league dismissal of the season. Their 4th red arrived in January, when Miles Lewis-Skelly got his marching orders against Wolves. That dismissal was later overturned though, and they have only had 1 sending off since. It's been because the rules at the beginning of the season when we were punished, then after 15 games they were very different. So they resolved them, Arteta told reporters. So hopefully next season we'll have some new rules for some games and then change them again. That would be great, if possible. Especially for all the teams, the same rules, at least, he continued. When told, with VAR anything could happen, he then said, "No. Well, hopefully not." Arsenal's first dismissal of the campaign came all the way back in August, with Declan Rice shown a second yellow against Brighton for delaying the restart. Leandro Trossard got his marching orders for the same offence the following month, with Arsenal's 10 men coming within touching distance of holding out for a point at Manchester City, despite the red. Next came Saliba, who wrestled Evanilson to the ground during the trip to Bournemouth and saw a yellow card upgraded to red after a VAR check. Lewis-Skelly was then shown a straight red against Wolves in January, with VAR upholding the decision, but the youngster's ban later overturned. But he wasn't so lucky after being sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity against West Ham. "I am absolutely fuming, but I leave it with you," a furious Arteta told Sky Sports after that Wolves dismissal. "Because it is that obvious. I don't think my words are going to help. Arsenal have avoided the same kinds of disciplinary issues in Europe, where they will take on Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday. Luis Enrique's side hold a narrow 1-0 advantage as they prepare to welcome the Gunners to the Parc des Princes. We need to prepare for the second match. It's going to be difficult, PSG boss Luis Enrique told Amazon Prime after Ousmane Dembele's first leg winner. The result means a little advantage for us. We are going to suffer, we know that. I think we can go to the final, but there is still one match. Whoever progresses out of Arsenal and PSG will face either Barcelona or Inter Milan in the final. Inter led 2-0 and 3-2 in the first leg at Montjuic, but had to settle for a draw thanks to an unfortunate own goal from keeper Jan Sommer. Arsenal are sizing up a move for Leicester starlet Bilal El Khanous, who has received a vote of confidence from boss Ruud van Nistelrooy. The Gunners are looking to bolster Mikel Arteta's options across the pitch ahead of another title push next season. Arteta's men have finished as runners-up in the last 2 campaigns and look set to end up second for a 3rd time on the trot this term. One area that needs reinforcements is attacking midfield. Captain Martin Odegaard has been a virtual ever-present under Arteta when he has not been injured, but the Norwegian has struggled for form since returning from an ankle problem. There is no player capable of truly replacing Odegaard within Arteta's setup. That has led to Arsenal turning there to potential candidates to act as competition for their skipper next season. Fabio Vieira could be an option, but given his struggles on loan at Porto, it appears his time at the Emirates Stadium is over. That has led to the emergence of El Khanous as a potential option. The 20-year-old only joined Leicester from Genk last August in a £21 million deal. but he has shone in what has been a woeful season for the Foxes as they have gone straight back down to the Championship. According to The Sun, Arsenal are monitoring the young playmaker who was named Genk's Player of the Season in his final year in Belgium. There are concerns about his physicality, but his incredible technique and vision have impressed the Gunners. It is said he could be a useful squad addition for Arteta, and Leicester's relegation means he could be relatively cheap, despite having 3 years to run on his contract. El Khanous has scored 3 goals and notched 5 assists in his 35 appearances across all competitions. Van Nistelrooy is clearly a big fan of El Khanous, having named him in every Premier League starting lineup of his tenure at the King Power Stadium. The Dutchman has even claimed the midfielder has the ability to star in the Champions League. His potential is there to be a top player in the Champions League. He can go a long way, the Leicester said earlier this season. He's not afraid to challenge the big teams in the league. He did very well in the home game against Manchester City. He's young, he came into the Premier League this season. He's developing really well. He's looking to add to his numbers. It's a matter of time, the goals and assists. There are still games for him to add to those numbers. He's a hard worker. He wants to improve. He's very young still. He's one definitely for the future of this club, to bring the club forward. He's come from the Belgian League to the Premier League. He's playing into a team where we're in the situation where we are. He's a technical player and he needs to be on the ball a lot. That's where his strengths are. For where we are, sometimes there are different games for him, but for his development, it's great.